back to Edina Vlog. I'm your host Josh Sprague with Edina Realty in Edina, Minnesota. Of course, we're here on a perfect Indian summer day at the Interlochen Country Club, just adjacent to the neighborhood we're going to be touring, which is Rolling Green, followed by a great business interview with the Urgency Room, and of course, market news and our Facebook question of the week. Come along. Our neighborhood tour this week is of the absolutely compelling and beautiful Rolling Green neighborhood. Rolling Green is comprised of about 100 high-end homes just east of Interlochen Country Club and just north of Meadowbrook Golf Course. It's an absolutely wonderful neighborhood. You've got, I call it Camelot. You have very large castle-like homes throughout, as you'll see in some of the footage that we are displaying right now. Mainly colonial homes. You've got a lot of gabled and bricked buildings, but you will find a contemporary mixed in here or there that really brings itself to attention. Average price in the neighborhood, 2 to 3 million. Only about 1 to 2 houses sell a year. But if you've ever driven through this neighborhood, you'll understand why it's called Rolling Green. Incredible topography, incredible legacy tree canopy, beautifully manicured lawns. It's just a real pleasure to drive through and enjoy. On to our Facebook question of the week, which is of course seasonally related, and it is, what is your plans for your Halloween costume this year? I plan on being a 1920s gangster, but I heard a variety of responses on Facebook. I even heard Justin Bieber. Most popular seems to be in the realm of superhero, witch, and things and ghouls, I would say. Thank you so much for everyone for participating. One thing I want to bring up here is if you follow me on Facebook, here's the address right here, here's the page. You can find great information, great market news, articles on the real estate market, upcoming listings, a lot of wonderful real estate information at your disposal. Just follow me on Facebook. Also, I tweet at my Twitter page, which is at Edina Josh. Here's a picture of it here. Again, you can pick up great articles and real estate news, the latest mortgage rates and so on. And then finally, here's my website, another great source for information on the local real estate market, where you can see all of my videos, including this one here. And again, great blog articles and listing information on homes coming up in your area. Thank you so much for all my real estate supporters out there. I appreciate it. You know, it's not until you're standing smack dab in the middle of the Rolling Green neighborhood that you can truly appreciate the green space, the tree coverage, and the sinuous winding streets. So glad to be here, but let's talk about market news. First of all, I want to run through some key economic indicators that will tell you why the Minnesota housing recovery has started. Here, take a look at this chart. This is the historic unemployment rate in Minnesota. You can see at the peak in May of 2009, our unemployment rate was 8.5%. Since then, we've added many jobs. We're down to a current level of just around 5%. And as I've said before on this show, lifeblood of the housing market is the job market. So that has helped things quite a bit. The other piece of this is the Fed and the easy money system that's been going right now. Take a look at this historical mortgage rate chart for 30-year fixed mortgages. Back in 2009, again, towards more of the middle of the recession, we were at 6.5% for rates. That dropped all the way to 3.5% in January of this year, and of course, you know, with the uncertainty in the markets and what the Fed's doing next, rates went up 1 point. Now we're at about 4.5%. Still, historically speaking, very low rates, and that is helping to drive demand in the housing market. Let's break it down now into the Twin Cities and Edina housing markets. Year to date in the Twin Cities housing market, we've had great progress. Sales are up 10%. Median sales price up 16%. Wow. What incredible step forward for the Twin Cities housing market. And importantly, driving some of those factors are the average days on the market, which is down 30%, right around 90 days. Same for the Edina housing market. Average days on the market down about 30% over last year to about 90 days. Sales are up 1%, listings up a little bit more, around 4%, so that's good. We're getting more inventory into the marketplace where we need it. And the median price climbing steadily, 3% year to date. So again, all the way around, great things are happening both on the macro and the micro level. And one more thing I want to tell you is that the $1 million housing market in Edina has continued to be stable from this year, from last year to this year. Last year, year to date, 53 million plus home sales. This year, we're on that same pace, 53 million plus home sales to date. So looking forward to another strong market in 2014 and continued economic recovery in the local markets.
Hello, welcome.
So glad to be here with you today. This is Dr. Kurt Belk from Emergency Physicians PA in the urgency room, and we're here today featuring the urgency room. And our connection actually to this business is through a client of mine who is also a doctor here, Dr. Tim Johnson, whose house I just sold in Edina. And through that experience, I learned more about the urgency room business model and actually became a customer. In fact, everyone in my family did, and I was so excited about the business and the innovation. I wanted to share that with you, the viewers. So thank you so much for having us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the urgency room model, and then we can go talk about the waiting room here.
Sure. We did this as a proof of concept for innovative healthcare, in which we could provide what we call the triple aim, which is high quality patient care at a lower cost with a phenomenal patient experience. And we wanted to have operational control, where we owned it, operated it, and ran it, eliminating some of the inefficiencies that the ER has. Mm-hmm. And we hired top quality staff, board certified ER physicians only, ER trained nurses and paramedics. So we have the highest quality of staff, from our front desk folks all the way back to the providers in the back of the room.
So let me ask you something for people out there that may not know. So what's the difference between the emergency room model and the urgency room model that kind of drove you here?
So from our perspective, we wanted to really provide a great experience for the 70 to 75% of the patients that go to an emergency department and then go home.
Okay.
So that was kind of the niche we were looking for. We can take care of everything. We are essentially a freestanding emergency department that does not accept ambulances and is not open at nighttime. We're open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 365 days a year, holidays included.
Yeah.
Our complete survey, or I should say, our complete throughput from start to finish on all comers. These are patients that even get admitted to the hospital from here, 77 minutes.
Wow.
So on lesser acuity stuff, we usually get people in and out in under a half hour.
And the neat thing I liked about the waiting room, which we're seeing is right here. First is it was very family friendly, with refreshments and kids' toys and lots of chairs and areas for people to play. But the other thing I just loved was when I was watching my wife go in for something, was the waiting list chart or the tracking chart. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we have two things that come to mind. The first thing, as you can see on our board back here, it actually has the wait times for patients, how long it would take us to get a patient to a room. You can actually log on to our website.
I saw that on the website,
and you can log in, and actually from our website, it has an accurate time of what you would expect to wait for.
Okay.
You can also call in and say, can I get myself an appointment for 3 o'clock this afternoon?
Yep.
We will hold that room for you as long as we don't have need for patients that are here immediately, and we can even take your information and call you back. We've looked at other innovative things like giving people remote control.
The buzzers?
Yeah, buzzers. Yeah. So if you wanted to go shopping, if you were like in this vicinity or where we're at in Woodbury, we're in a mall area where there's a Target, a Kohl's, and there's a place to eat. If you have time to wait and you can afford to wait with your complaint, we can then call you when a room's available if we're not able to seat you immediately. But for most of the time, people are within our rooms from start to front within 5 to 7 minutes.
Well, let's take a look at one of the care rooms.
Absolutely.
So now we step back into the patient care area. Tell me a little bit about the different suites on this level.
Yeah, so we basically have 3 sets of rooms. These are our 2 more critical areas, one that specializes in pediatrics, other one that is adult-oriented. The rooms are very large and spacious. We do all of our sedations, our fracture reductions, and more of our critical care in these areas. Our other 2 style rooms are out front. We have 11 rooms that are cardiac specific, that if you have a cardiac etiology, we can put you on a monitor. And then the others are just same size patient rooms without the cardiac specialization.
Okay. And your 3 locations, which we didn't mention, Egan, Vadnais Heights, and Woodbury, do they all have about the same layout?
Exact. They're actually replicas of each other, with each one being a little bit bigger.
Yep.
So in Egan, we went from 12 beds to 18 beds, and this went from then Vadnais Heights opened with 19 beds plus 2 consulting rooms.
And what kind of volume are you servicing, I mean, annually at these locations?
Yeah.
I know they all haven't been open that long, but I'm sure you're projecting out based on current.
Yeah, so between the 3 of them, we'll see roughly 42,000 patient visits this year.
So let's go take a look at the diagnostic center. I'm really interested to see that.
Sure.
Here we are in the diagnostic center. Tell me a little bit about the equipment.
Yeah, so we have full diagnostics. We have full-time X-ray, CT, and ultrasound, state-of-the-art equipment with St. Paul Radiology trained specialists to not only do the test but also read the images. On average, we get an X-ray back within 15 minutes. We get a CT that's been read by a subspecialist in less than 30 minutes.
Wow. And then, you know, on that staffing issue, tell me about how the rest of the staff works throughout the facility.
Yeah, so we have a stable of board-certified emergency physicians, emergency-trained nurses, and paramedics that run each of our shifts. On the weekends, during our busier time, we overlap and have 3 physicians on per day.
Okay. And then you said at the over here to assist, you have the students.
We do. We have medical scribes that help us to gain efficiencies.
Yep.
They go in and take the information from the patient, and then they input it into the patient's chart, allowing us the freedom to spend more time at the bedside and more time with the patients.
You know, you have the system just dialed down, and I can see why it's worked so well from the patient side of things, because all of my child went, my wife went, and I went, and we all had an incredible experience. Let's take a look at the website real quick. Here's a picture of it. You told me about the different functions that were on it, but why don't you tell me a little more?
Yeah, so the website has all 3 of our locations with average waiting times for you to actually get into a room. It gives you the ability to actually log into the website and put a time in which you were going to be there. Let's say that you knew you needed to get something checked out, but it was going to be after work and you wanted to get an appointment around 4:30. You could log in and say, I'll be there at 4:30. We'd have your information in there, and we'd have a room ready for you when you got there.
Wow. And then you said there's also some vignettes on there about common medical conditions?
Yeah, so we have about 35 2-minute videos that are through an attachment on YouTube that our board-certified ER physicians went and gave you a little 2-minute synopsis of many different illnesses and ailments for reasons why you'd go see a doctor at a hospital or emergency department or clinic.
Okay, and then of course you can track your loved ones going through the process and how long it takes.
Right, and you can see how long that they've been in there and then how much time is estimated before they'll be discharged home.
I'm so impressed with the business model, and everyone out there, just know that the emergency room is going to be covered by almost every single medical plan out there. Give it a chance. Try the experience for yourself. I think you'll be come back a raving customer. So thank you so much for the visit and for the tour, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow, another fabulous show. Thank you so much for being with me. Before I leave, I'd like to give you a little bit of information here. Take a look. This is a recent sale, 6609 Southdale Road. Sold for 106% of list price, multiple offers. It's still a very competitive market here in Edina, and I have the perfect home selling system to take advantage of that, to create competitive demand for properties, and I'd love to do the same for you. Until next time, thank you so much to my guests at the Urgency Room. Thank you to the beautiful Rolling Green neighborhood, and I hope to see you here again on Edina Vlog.